All right. Here we are. Should be an interesting stream today. Something simple. I'm not feeling 100%, so I'm going to just work on something for a little while, see how far we go. So this root command is just a common problem I have where and I can even show it off. It's common for me to run into the problem of, I might cd into, let's go like sesh main. Maybe we'll do like it doesn't really matter which one, but sesh main convert. The root of this project is sesh main. I find that when I want to get to sesh main, it's not always the first result. Even in this case, it's the second result. And so I want to be able to bind it to a key binding where I can press Command 0 and it will open up the root of a project. That's what I'm going for here. And so it should be a fairly trivial feature. A lot of things are already in place that will make this pretty straightforward. So let's just go ahead and do root command or connect root. So my thought is in the CLI, I guess it'll just be on the connect command. We'll add one that's beyond switch. We'll call this root. And switches to the root of the current session. So I'm not sure yet if the best way to do this is to just hijack. I don't think I'm going to hijack the existing connect session. I think I'll just make a new one. So the connector will be doing this. Connector, let's see. So rather than find TMUX session, I need to find the root session based off of the session that I'm currently in. So the way that'll work is if I'm like here, let's just say that this is what gets sent. We're going to look for what is the root of the work tree. So let's just do it. Okay. This is slightly different than what I want to do today. There's two commands here. One is, yeah, it's basically this bullet point down here that I'm working on. And we can increase the font a bit. And why don't we put this in its own place? I like this backdrop, but why don't we use the one we have? There we go. Nice. A little screensaver inception over here. All right. So the simplest thing I can do is we can start at let's start with the code. Let's go a little bit smaller here. Let's start with the code that makes the get detection. So how do I determine that? The namer. So the namer has a bear name. So I'm going to have a folder and I'm going to ask for it from the get bear name. And then from there, once we have the name, that's the sort of the tricky part here is we might start with just the regular Git repository, but the tricky part is the namer logic only gives me back like a stringed value basically. So it's like this git show common level. This is what I'm going to end up pulling from in order to find the connection. And then I want to remind myself how the namer connects. So the namer is part of the sesh strategy, right? So the connector tmux, we find the value, and then once we have the value, go a little smaller. Can you guys still see that all right? What's up, Dr. K? Ian's here too. What's going on? We're just building a sesh feature today. So is it connect to tmux? New session? Oh, I remember. So the lister, so the find command, lister tmux, right? This guy is going to list all the sessions, grab the guy, pull it out, and then the name comes from tmux. That one's a little bit less useful. Let's go to Zoxide. We shorten home. How do I actually come up with the sesh name? I guess we can look a little bit closer at the namer strategy. Right. So from Zoxide or directories, I call that. Okay. So how much of this do I have to pull out? Maybe I can just create a little bit of repetitive code here tonight. We'll start from the beginning then. So the sesh CLI is going to attempt to connect with the root flag. We have our options. We have our trimmed icon. And then we have our connect command. So maybe we just connector, make sure that our options for the connector include root, right? So then we forward that. It's not a bool, it's a string. Is it a string? I think it is a bool technically, right? That seems to be a little bit more clear. Like yes do root, right? We're just invoking it. All right. Invoking that logic. Connect. So do we treat it as, here's the part that I'm a little bit thrown off by. All of the connection strategies are like overwritten with a root strategy. So I don't really need to call connect. Part of me wants to create a connect to root command, which maybe I'll do. Because the core of this is, I guess we still want like this stuff to happen. We want the connection to happen. Do I map this separately for root, or same with the strategy here. If the tmux session already exists, I do want to connect to it. So really what needs to come out of it is a named session that can match. And if it's not running on tmux, then it would follow its own strategies. So to do if root, I'm actually thinking that because there's no argument, the name string is what sort of changes here. So that means that I might want to just call this independently. Basically, I don't really need the name, but in the tmux concept, or the way that I'm imagining that this works, tmux is that it'll be some sort of, command 0 switch to root. I can't type. Switch to root via sesh. And so it'll be one of those like, what does 0 do? It looks for a window. Nice. So I can't overwrite that. And instead of sesh dev last, we'd say let sesh dev connect root. Now I was wondering, can I include tmux root path as argument? I don't want explicitly to set the path. I feel like it might be all right to not include the argument, but I was thinking some sort of PWD kind of thing. But root won't be a valid flag, right? Well, it won't be yet because it doesn't really exist. We could build and just see what happens. All right, so let's try this. Let's just echo. Yeah, that does give me the project root. That might be enough for me. What I wanted was the full path. And basically, if the strategy is it can't quite figure it out, that it falls back. So let's see how far we can get with this. We have our sesh connect root. We don't need that. We don't need that. So name is now going to be the whole path of something. So let's see. There were two strategies for the namer. Namer does two different things. It looks at both of these values and it runs through them like strategies. I basically need to borrow the same pattern. I could make a root package or module. What do we call it in Go? We call them modules. No, we call them package. So the package needs to have the ability to do something similar, but for finding the root of the project. So we could make a rooter package, but I feel like that might be a bit much. Maybe I'll just do a connector strategy for root specifically. This is where we start to sort of split the logic. I don't know if anyone has any suggestions who's watching and hanging out with me tonight, but it is quite a bit different in that this command is I'm going to give you a folder and you're not going to connect to that folder. You're going to connect to the folder that you can find that is the root. The root of a Git repo, exactly. Yeah, Ian, I know you were not here quite when we started. Yeah, that's the idea. Or in a work tree scenario, it'd be the root of the work tree. So I already have logic that can get those things. Once those things have been gotten, I then do the same thing I always did. I do a connection strategy. So realistically, I just need to like clean the name that's coming in and say, okay, parse this down to its core, like its root positioning, and then run the connect command. That's literally, I think, all I need to do. And so it doesn't really matter where I'm at in the project. I should be able to just say, take me to the root of this. It doesn't matter what folder I'm in, just go all the way down to the beginning of this project and create that session or switch to that session or whatever. So I really can just continue the strategies as they were originally designed for. So it's some sort of like folder transforming. Yeah, yeah, you're good. Once we're done, it'll be really simple and I think easy to show off. So I think that's it. I think I just need to do what I just said, but I need to find the right place to put it so that it's fairly organized. Part of me is thinking it's just some sort of path transformer. So we have path wrap, we have get, we have dir. Would dir be one of the ones that do it? Maybe it is. Well, namer Ian only returns the name. So do I change that behavior and just reuse it in different ways? Namer will return, I believe, a string, and that's not sufficient, right? We need an actual like full path. And so for now, the simple idea, Ian, is that we just pass pwd from tmux as part of the command, and that's the full path, right? And so it's like, all right, I'm dot files slash config slash neovim, right? And where I want to end up is dot files, right? And so anytime I'm here, I need to have, in this case, I'll have the full path. So it'd be like this. Uh, that would be the full path. And what comes out of it is something like this. So realistically, all I need to do is work out a way to do the same thing we're doing with Namer, but this time with directory tooling. So I think I might do this in dir. This is just a directory thing. So one thing we do is we determine if something is a dir. So I might call this root dir door. And this is a string, and this is has root dir, and then absolute path. This feels fine to me. We now need a new dependency. So get mixed name and unused params. All right, so let's just do it. Root dir. don't need the absolute path. I just need the common door and the top level. All right. Yeah, so this is a thing where the namer is doing most of the heavy lifting, and then I'm trimming it all with this trim prefix, right? So we're stripping everything behind sesh main, right? Sesh main, everything before it gets stripped out. So realistically, I'm going to move this logic and then only do the path wrap base like stripping out after the fact. Does this one already have dir? We have this one, but does my namer already use the dir as a dependency? It doesn't. Okay. The question I have now is like, how much dependency injection has to be shuffled around for this to work? I think we might get away with moving this logic. No, I don't want to move it. I think I want to recreate it. So we will just do a quick test. So my quick test is on the bear name is fine. Interesting. Said I already have the path. Yeah. So we talked about that. Now, oh, I have to finish that, don't I? And then this is D. The name comes from here. D. Ooh, I don't have path wrap, do I? Oh, no, I do. Oh, that's funny. Why am I doing it differently in two different places? I need to make sure that I always return this the right way. So this will be like, yes, you found it. Or, no, you didn't find it. Right? So that's the idea. Which I usually exit early, don't I? But no, we got to do two things here. So that's fine. And instead of trimming the fat here, we don't need a relative path. We could probably test this first. And now the question is, where do I call this? Now this isn't going to be good yet, so we need this, right? Get is get. All right, there's all our errors. And then sesh CLI, the connector. We haven't used it yet, right? So we got this dir get. I don't think this guy counts as a base dependency because technically I'm doing other work with this. So I'm fine with moving that. No more errors. we build. Let's just call it and see what happens. So if we connect and we connect to root, and I guess if we just say if root format print line root, if we build that and we call it, oh, I forgot. Command 0 is typically going to reset. So I could do parentheses. All right, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing here. Let's just do prefix. All right, so that one works. And then we're going to do C. The connector. Who is the one that's going to have the get command that or the dir command that I can run? I guess it's a new dependency, right? So I could start with that. It's not a big deal to shuffle this around for a little while. G, no, D. All right, so we've got dir, and then we got dir, and then let's go down to the action here. We're going to say D dot root dir of the name, and then is, what do we call this? Has root dir and all right. What happens now if I call this root sesh main? Okay, sweet. Now if I go sesh main convert and I run this, we do not get sesh main. That's what we're going for, basically. So that gives me the full path, which I guess is what we'd expect at first. So I have the top level dir. We get rid of the relative path. The top level dir. What is this one? Base. What does base do again? Let's keep it and see what happens. Name. All right, so there's our new guy. Let's build. So that's sesh. What I want is like the absolute path, right? What do we return? This or an error? I see. So we can't do that. We got to do that. Fine. I am only checking for .bear. It's sort of opinionated, so I think there's an opportunity to improve on this. I'm being a little bit selfish, and I'm making the feature in the way that I use get work trees. So this will be, if I build this feature out and it works today, then it'll be useful tomorrow, like immediately useful to me. So I need to think about how others do get work trees. and more easily the Git the bare repo, not the bare repo, the common, just a normal Git cloned repo. That feature will be that one will work for everybody, kind of as is. Um, yeah, but so that's worth calling out. Oh, that's a good idea too, Ian. If someone has a predictable pattern in the way in which they do work trees, allow them to set that variable. It's a good idea. Okay, so boom. That's actually a problem because I need main. Let's see what happens here. Yes, so I actually need to include the folder that I'm in. I don't want to go to Sesh. That's not the point of this feature. Root won't be Sesh. Root will be the root of the work tree. So this is the main work tree, right? So then that means the relative path. I guess I need to dump this stuff out and get a better sense of what it is. I need, what do I need? If we were to get really into the weeds here, some of my projects are a lot deeper. So I'll be many folders deep. And realistically, I want to find the bare work tree and then I want to say, give me the folder on top of it. So I guess I'll go here and I'll format print line. Right. So the relative path in this case is circumstantially just something helpful, but here the relative path is main convert. How do I set up work trees? That's a good question. I can show you my workflow. Um, but let me try to get past this train of thought. So basically, this will be slash main slash any number of folders. So realistically, what I want to do is on this relative path. Oh, actually, I need. This should be my clipboard, right? Oh, there we go. So I want to say get the first folder in a absolute string. We're going to split and get the first one based off of the path separator. That's interesting. That actually should work. I don't know why it wouldn't. Thank you, Copilot. Let's see if it works. Let's do that. Ah, look at that. That is not right. It's going to be cheap and dirty to just do this. Ah, that is still not right. Okay. So we're splitting. I think we still need this guy. This is the first dir, something like that. Firster. Fun. Yeah, so the splitter is wrong. String split. That's how it works, right? The first argument is a string, and then the second is a separator. Separated by returns a slice of substrings. I could just start here, I guess. Ah. Yeah, the initial one. That's what I was trying to figure out too, Andres, is I don't know if this is even going to be what I want. I could do regular expression, but I feel like that'll get a little bit more complicated. And I actually have to include the separator. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right. Well, the quick and dirty. Oop, I think I just closed that. The quick and dirty of this then is this is the top level dir, then the relative path. So now, if we were to do something like that, and then we took the split and the first, and then it's the, I'm trying to remember what it is exactly. Thank you. Andre's always being helpful in here. We're going to do relative. We just need the top level dir plus the first dir. That's all it is. Top level dir plus the first dir. Oh, but that's where it gets fun, isn't it? So we need top level dir, and then the relative path gives us the first dir. And so the absolute path is the top level dir plus that. Again, this is kind of messy, but it's more conceptualizing it right now. So let's see how we get here. Yep, that's it. So that's our name. And the root true comes out to exactly as we needed it. And when we get what we need, we just run through the connect logic. Like it's not complicated. So it's just string manipulation, right? So this is really cheap and fast. Root dir. This will probably need some more exhaustive testing and things like that. But I'm going to play around with it first and see how it goes, and we can squash bugs and add testing and all that sort of fun stuff. But I have some sort of allergies, or I think I might have had a sinus infection or something. So if I'm sounding a little bit less chipper, it's just because I'm tired, and I don't think we'll stream a whole lot tonight. But I thought this would be fun to get a quick win and to see how this works. So the connect logic, we look for the root, right? And rather than doing this, we're basically transforming the name. From what I can tell, that's what I want to do. So if has root dir, then I'm going to take the name and I'm going to do a reassignment. Because realistically, that's what I'm trying to do. Like literally, this is what I had in mind for the root flag. So I don't need to pass this, which is fine with me. And on the connection logic, I don't really want the connector to deal with that. So we won't. So we build and we, boom. That's actually exactly what I expected. So if I'm here and I do the connect to root command pattern, it should send me there. Cool. So that actually did exactly what I wanted. I'm going to try with a work project. So we have like let's go to the CLI, right? And now if I do this, it should connect me to new transwiz. Perfect. That's actually exactly what I wanted it to do. Sweet. So that is exactly what I wanted it to do. We have this new dependency. So root create function. And then what are we doing here? We've got the connector needs the dir package. There's a new root flag. And then the root flag overwrites and checks for the root dir based off of what was passed. I think if there's errors, I just don't care. So we'll have to play around with that and make sure that if there are errors, we catch them and then we just ignore them, basically. So we'll play around with what happens if I call this and there's nothing to call. Part of me is thinking if like we're not connected to tmux, or if there is no root dir, that we could flash a tmux message or something. So there's some quality of life improvements for sure. And then we have this new dir CLI. All right, so the dir gets moved, which I think is fine with me. And then the connect command takes in a new argument. So feature add root flag to connect command. I'm gonna go ahead and push that. So that's the first part. No, noise, huh? This is noise. This is working. Let's try the other way. So I have a little bit more time. So let's try like dot files. So if I wanted to do like neovim config, right? This puts me in .config neovim, and I might want to end up in the root of dot files. So that's sort of step 2 of this feature. And so in the dir, we would take this logic and we would repeat it for this. And from what I can tell, it's going to be done basically the same way. This is where there's some code duplication, and it may be worth figuring out how we want to consolidate this logic potentially. No, not the namer dir. We want this dir. So it's like we probably need to change the name. So this is get bear name. So this is get bear root dir. And then no, that was right. This one is here. And then this one gets simplified down to that. And now we're going to do some sort of is get bear. All right. So then this guy is going to do what we just did, but we're going to do it twice. So root dir is going to check for is get bear. If is get bear, return that. And then we'll rinse and repeat. And instead of name, it'll be get root dir. And this is the D and the path and the string. Let's just do something similar where we'll get rid of that and we'll get rid of that. And this becomes D and D. All right, so path wrap becomes a new dependency. And we decided this is going to be true name and false. Boom. All right. Relative base. I don't think I need that, right? We didn't do that there. And now the relative path is the top level dir. This one's easier. It's less opinionated. Get root dir is get. If get, return that, return that. All right, that's it. So now if we go somewhere like here and we hit 0, we go to dot files. How cool is that? Now I could visualize this better with like a dot files slash, like let's go here, right? This is where I have my sesh config. So we're dot files, config, sesh, and I go, hey, I want to go to the root of dot files. I just push a button and it connects because we already have one that's connected. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so that's it. That's all this feature is. I'm assuming that if we just don't call the root flag, there's not really a whole lot that changes, right? So feature add get root support. I can look this over. I want to get the binding right. So command 0 resets the font, which I think I'll keep. So for my wes term config, we will do something where I don't even think I use this feature. No, not really. Okay. So then that means wes term, let's do that again. This guy will be bound to that guy. Weird. Why is it bringing up that? 9. I could do 9, I guess. 0 is for that, and 9 is for that. Sure. So now if I do 9, it goes to dot files. How about that? I like it. My brain was thinking 0, but it's just muscle memory at this point, right? I am curious what's going on here. I don't know why it's highlighting things. But I do this a lot. I'm like, new whiz web. I'm here. And I know that I need to get to this. So now it's a single binding, where before trans whiz sometimes was the second result, but it wouldn't always be. It would sometimes end up somewhere else in the list. And so now I can just say, okay, take me here. And so that's a very helpful thing. Very, very helpful. Very mindful, right? So add connect root flag. What does it do? The root flag that connects to the root of a bear work tree or get root, and ignored if not found. This makes easy to jump from, I don't know, like dot files, right? We said c dot files slash config slash neovim to so let's just show this off, right? Tmux. We're just gonna skip this detail. Can I do quotes? Seems like it might be safe to do quotes. So if we're here and we do 9, because people put folder names and stuff in here, and it's just not smart. Why does that actually fail? Oh, let's yank that to clipboard. Oh, I need to escape them. Stupid escape. Yep, okay. So let's try that again. Always good to escape when I can. We're technically connecting to root. Nice. All right. Well, if people want to play around with this, they can. Put up a pull request. Maybe I'll do a minor release and let people mess with this. Oh, I got this back. I guess, like always, we need to update the README, right? Would that be useful? And to your point, Ian, you said that it would be good to let people define what the name of the bear folder is. There could be a lot of edge cases I don't think of, or where people have if they have that folder somewhere else in their project, we might run into that same issue. Oh, yeah, you gotta put sesh dev everywhere, right? That's how I test the feature without going crazy. I need, like, a ChatGPT workflow that just trims that out every time. That would be nice. Okay, so that's that. Um, don't need those. It's not gonna run testing, huh? Oh, Mockery's gonna have to be updated for sure. Oh, Mockery won't run there because we updated the dependencies. Sure, update Mockery. And then we will do a quick test. We probably could have tested before. GitHub Action, that's funny. Yeah, GitHub Action, find and replace this value in all my readmes before I run it. That's funny. I mean, it's not the worst idea. It actually could save me some time and energy. Cool. So that should pass, or it did pass here. Um, not too bad. Chat, we got through it in an hour. So this is the idea. I'm going to use this tomorrow. See how I like it. Maybe I could even do like Command Shift K might be nice. Am I using Command Shift K? Oh, I have a different idea for that. In the future, what I'm thinking of doing is we have our list. So let's talk about like sesh main. Part of me is thinking that we use the same pattern to create a quick drop down that lets you list everything from a predefined base. So like sesh main might be the thing that comes out of it. And then when you hit, hey, I want to switch to the project, rather than having to switch a global amount of projects, we just switch and filter down to just the list that you guys see here. So that's sort of in parallel with this idea of like a root search versus a root connect. And so now that we have that root logic available to us, we'll do something similar, I think, here. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I like that idea, but I think this command I worked on today would be more helpful. Do I need to not deprive other devs? That's funny, Ian. Depriving other devs from contributing to fix README PRs. I get one every now and then the day after stream, don't I? Because I just didn't see it. You know, even better, we create a LSP markdown rule that looks for that word and always errors out. And then we hook that rule into markdown linting, and we create a pre-commit hook that rejects commits that have that word in it. That's what we need to do. That would really be over engineering this. All right, this should have worked. Yeah, it did. So should I update the README? I can do that. README. Look at all these linter styles. All right, so we got features, connect. Do I list it anywhere? Bindings, recommended settings, bonus sesh last. I guess we'll call this bonus sesh last. Connect to root. While working in a nested session, you may want to connect to the root session of a Git work tree or Git repository. To do this, you can use the root flag, the sesh connect command. All right, no sesh dev. Ian, no sesh dev. Switch to root session via sesh. This example, note. Now get work trees. Expect a bare folder. Yeah, so it's just one of those things that like yeah, thanks. Okay. So I don't need to reformat all this. Docs, add root, connect. Instructions. Okay, well, I'll let you guys play around with this if you want. The get root is really simple and should work just fine. So that one's kind of straightforward and to the point. So yeah, that should be fun. Let's see. Where are we at? We'll let this run. I need to attach this to the issue, don't I? So 130. We're not closing that ticket because there's more to do. But I can start here. And good old button pressing gets me to releasing. And we'll do 2.4. Look at all these releases, you guys. We're doing it. Connect to root. What's changed? Add connect to root flag. Let's just go ahead and put it here. I love that I just typically copy and paste stuff. We just got to find a good way to organize this, don't we? Oh, that wasn't right. Put that there. While working in an SS session, you may want want a way to connect to the root session of a get work tree or get repository. To do this, you can use the root flag. Yeah, this is wordy, isn't it? This is better. Cool. This is the latest release. Yes. All right, people. So we'll let the action run. If you want to mess with 2.4.0, you can. Hopefully you'll find this useful. I know I do. Something as simple. Let's play around with it again. So let's play with like wes term, right? We're in our wes term from config, and hey, I want to go to dot files. Funny. It craps out. Oh, did my tmux config not update? Interesting. Why are we getting double quotes around this? I might have to mess more with the quote wrapping and figure out. I love that when I release and I test again, something happens. So, Ian, do you think I should just always work off the bleeding edge of the project and not have it installed on my machine through Homebrew? Because I could do that. So, like, brew, uninstall sesh, right? And then our sesh. How do I actually do this now? I need which sesh dev. I need to move user Josh go and sesh dev to users Josh go bin sesh. Boom, now we're back. Now our sesh project, the make file, we would not send this to dev, we would send this to sesh. Yeah, sesh stable, that's interesting. So you're just like, hey, do the opposite of what you're doing. Don't make dev separate. Just make dev the sesh be what I'm developing off of, so that all my testing can be off of that. And then if I want a more stable version, I can explicitly do something there. Interesting. Yep, I think that would work. So this isn't a perfect feature. I'm sure there may be some syntactical things to change, and there's definitely some feature improvements to make. But I wanted to make something in about an hour and have a quick win. And hopefully tomorrow I'll use this feature and start getting the sense of how helpful it might be. I already think I'll use it a couple times an hour at least. That's how useful it's going to be. So, boy, I'm real fuzzy today, aren't I? I hope you guys have a good night. This was fun. Thanks for coming on and being on stream as always. It looks like lots of the usuals are here. I love it. I'll be in Discord, of course, and I've been coming up with some additional ideas for Sesh. So beyond this one, there's a couple other similar pieces. So you guys go play with this. Set it up. Let me know what you think about it. Give me a GitHub issue if you got some feedback, or shoot me a message in the Discord server. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, I have a community where we like to talk about this kind of stuff. And so go to my website, joshfedesky.com, and check out the Discord server. Of course, I'm on X a lot. I'm posting there the most. And I do intend on making YouTube videos. So that will come again. I know it's been a little while, but thanks for coming on, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.